Yo everyone, what is going on? Welcome to the video, and today I'm going to be doing a full day of eating 1,900 calories, and I am also going to be setting myself a protein goal of 190 grams. So for anyone out there who is living that low calorie, high protein life, you are going to get a lot of ideas from this video. And seeing as gyms are reopening over the next couple of weeks, and by the time this video goes live, they are officially open in Ireland, which is great. I'm going to be showing you how I like to structure my training to be absolutely certain that I am growing muscle and making progress. So sit back, relax, enjoy the video, and it is time for my first meal. So for breakfast, I'm going to be having none other than a breakfast pizza. And these are the ingredients that I'm going to be using. But this is actually a recipe I've only come across very recently, and I've been wondering what I have done in my life to be deprived of it for so long, because it is just so good. So I'm going to start by using one of these kids wholemeal wraps as the base. I got them from Tesco, only 121 calories per wrap, and they are still a pretty decent size. Next up, I am going to spread 75 grams of this mushroom pasta sauce over the wrap. Per 100 grams of this sauce, there is only 39 calories, hence the reason you can be quite generous with your serving, because you are not going to rack up too many calories whatsoever. Next up, we have some spinach, and what I'm going to do is basically just make a little rim around the pasta sauce. In total, this will come to about 15 grams of spinach. So next up, we have one medium egg, and what I'm going to do is make a little hole or a well in the middle with the pasta sauce, and I am going to crack the egg into the little hole. Then I'm going to add 80 grams of this wood smoked ham around the edges, and you can use normal sliced ham if you want, but I just think the shredded ham is a nice touch. Next up, we have 30 grams of this 50% less fat cheese, and you're probably sick of me banging on about this cheese if you watch a lot of my videos, but you get it in Aldi. Then to top it off, I'm going to use some of my trusty smoked paprika. And I actually saw a comment on one of my recent videos. It was like, when you get famous, I'm gonna buy your smoked paprika t-shirt, and that is honestly a decent show. But yeah, I'm gonna put it in the oven for about 10 minutes at 200 degrees Celsius. Okay, so we are good to go. I have my pizza cutter at the ready, so I'm gonna cut myself a big fat slice. This just looks too good. Let's give it a go. Honestly, if you are having this for breakfast, just go straight back to bed after, because nothing you do for the rest of the day is gonna top this. Okay, so one of the biggest mistakes I see when it comes to dieting is when someone eats like one biscuit that wasn't on their plan and then proceeds to lose their shit and eat the whole packet. And let's compare that to some other real life situations. So doing that is kind of like spilling a drop of tea on the ground and then just pouring the whole thing out. I've been uploading to TikTok for like a month now, consistently, and I genuinely think that with a bit of work, it could be the next Instagram. Like, I think they need to add a story feature maybe, or something like that. Kind of like what Instagram done to Snapchat. Like, when Instagram added their story feature, Snapchat was just gone. But yeah, TikTok just seems to be growing like so fast. The algorithm is so much better, and that just basically means that it is easier for your content to reach like a way bigger amount of people, which is ultimately like what you want. But the first thing that I want to talk about in relation to structuring my training is my sets and reps. So just to give you a little bit of a background, I usually train 6 days per week, and I aim to hit each muscle group 2 times per week. And I've used various splits over the years to achieve this. So I've done a push-pull leg split, and more recently I was doing a split where I trained chest and back one day, I trained legs the next day, and I trained arms the following day. And I was doing that because arms were and still are a big focus of mine. But whatever my split is, I generally like to do about 6 to 8 exercises per session, and per exercise I do 3 to 4 sets. So in total I could be doing anywhere between 18 and 24 sets per session. Then in terms of reps, I usually do most of my training within the 6 to 15 rep range. And although, you know, higher rep sets can be useful, especially when you have a light weight at your disposal like most of us do at home, when I'm in the gym and I have a heavier weight to use, I usually like to make the most of it, and hence I train within that slightly lower rep range. And in terms of compound exercises like the squat, the lat pull down, the bench press, etc., I usually like to make most of my progress within like the 6 to 12-ish rep range. And then when it comes to my isolation exercises like my bicep curls, my tricep pushdowns, I usually like to go a little bit heavier and train within the 8 to 15 rep range. And again, that is personal preference, and you could do higher rep sets of squats and the bench press or whatever and still make a lot of progress. But for me, you know, that's just what works. And when I say make progress, it's actually really important that you know what I mean by that. So I am going to show you exactly what I do after my next meal. Okay, so I am going for a quick and easy lunch, and this is a meal that a lot of you have probably seen before in some shape or form, but nevertheless, it is an absolute banger. So let's do it. So I'm going to start by adding 300 grams of 0% yogurt to a bowl, which is 2 tubs, and the tubs that I am using are these skier yogurts that you get from Tesco. Only 81 calories and 14 grams of protein per tub, which is unreal, and they are so tasty. And a pro tip is to buy one blueberry one and one raspberry one and mix them together. Then I am going to add just 10 grams of chocolate brownie whey protein to the top, just for that extra flavor, and it also gives the meal a little bit more protein. And now it is time for the topping. So I'm gonna add 200 grams of this summer fruit mix that you get from Tesco. And per 100 grams, there is only 46 calories, and they are also nice and filling because they contain a lot of fiber, just like all berries. Next up, we have 20 grams of granola, just to add a little bit of a crunch. Finally, I'm gonna break up 1 square of this dark chocolate and add it to the top. Nice bit of everything on there. Unreal. Definitely a favorite of mine, and the fact that you can literally make it in about 2 minutes just makes it even better. And I did add some like higher calorie, fattier options to this meal. So I added, you know, granola, the dark chocolate, and I probably would have got more volume if it was just like pure berries on top. But even though I don't track my fat intake religiously, I still like to make sure that I get some healthy fat sources each day. So some granola, some dark chocolate, maybe some salmon. Well, I actually haven't had salmon in about 5 years, but the point still stands. So even though I am a huge fan of voluminous meals, like this is definitely very voluminous. Like not every single decision you have to make has to be about what's low in calories, what's high in protein, what's voluminous. I genuinely never want this to end. Okay, so let's move on to talking about how I ensure that I am progressing or progressively overloading as the weeks go on with my training. So what I like to do for each exercise is choose a smaller rep range to work within. So for example, for the bench press, I might choose to do 4 sets within the 6 to 8 rep range. So in my first session, I will start with a weight that I can do 4 sets of 6 at. And then over the coming sessions, I will try and work that up to 4 sets of 8 with the same weight. And then when I can do 4 sets of 8 with that weight, I will slightly increase the weight and start that process again. And I've actually done out a little example on my whiteboard over here. So let me get it. So as you can see from this example here, I am working within the 6 to 8 rep range. And in my first session, I'm doing 4 sets of 6 at 100 kg. I'm gradually increasing that to 4 sets of 8 in my third session. And then in my fourth session, I'm starting that process again by increasing the weight from 100 kg to 102.5 kg and doing 4 sets of 6 with that new weight. And this is a very simplified example. Like it's never going to be as smooth as this. In some sessions, you'll find that you won't progress. In other sessions, you'll probably progress a little bit quicker. But this is the general structure, and if you are seeing progress like this over the course of a number of weeks whilst maintaining good form and good tempo, then you know that you are moving in the right direction and building muscle. And I do want to make one final point about what you should be looking to increase the weight by in compound versus isolation exercises. But first, I want to show you what I'm having for dinner. And one more thing, this stupid thing took me way longer than it should have because I am left-handed, and trying to draw on a whiteboard when you are left-handed is honestly one of the worst things ever, because it obviously smears as you go across. It's actually been the bane of my life for so long. Like even in exams and stuff like that, I would just have a smudgy page. Terrible. But yeah, if you do appreciate the effort, even though it didn't even look good, make sure you give the video a thumbs up. Alright, so I took a little rain check after the last clip. I got a home leg session in, hopefully one of the last ever leg sessions that I have to do at home. Like when gyms reopen, I am never gonna do a Bulgarian split squat ever again. But as my post-workout meal slash dinner, I'm gonna be having chicken and prawn tikka masala. Interesting. So I have my chicken and prawns here, both very low sources of protein. I have some sliced mixed peppers and diced white onion. I usually buy my peppers and onions fresh and just chop them up myself, but I always end up throwing out a little bit, so buying them frozen is a good way of minimizing waste, and it is also extremely handy. And if even one person comments below and says, oh, fresh is better than frozen, blah blah blah, take a day off. And then over here we have some steam bags of cauliflower rice that you get from Tesco, and these are literally a great replacement for normal rice if you're trying to keep the calories of a meal down, because per bag there is only 30 calories. But the one thing about them is that they are quite bland, so when you are having some cauliflower rice, make sure you use a lot of seasoning and spices and some sauce as well. And speaking of sauce, I'm going to be using this tikka masala cooking sauce that you get from Tesco, only 86 calories per 100 grams, which is pretty good. And if you do not shop in Tesco, then I know that Aldi have a version of this that is pretty good in terms of calories, and Super Value do as well. So let's get this show on the road. So I am going to start by adding 110 grams of chopped up chicken breast to a pan. Then next up is the veg, so I'm going to add 100 grams of these sliced mixed peppers and 50 grams of diced white onion. I genuinely don't think I'm ever going to buy actual peppers and onions ever again. This is so handy. Next, I am going to add my 2 bags of cauliflower rice. So per bag, there is only 30 calories. And the amount that you get for 60 calories in total, which is obviously 2 bags, is just ridiculous, like so much. Literally a mountain of cauliflower rice. Next up is 150 grams of king prawns, and these come like cooked and peeled already, so I'm just throwing them in there to heat them up. And now it is time for the seasoning, and I'm gonna be very, very generous with the amount I use to ensure that the dish has a lot of flavor. So that was smoked paprika. I'm gonna use some ground cumin, and I am also going to use some garlic as well. And last but not least, I'm gonna add 100 grams of this tikka masala cooking sauce. Really, really good, and you genuinely just wouldn't even miss the rice. Like, the dish already has so much flavor that the actual rice not being there, it isn't a big deal. And I think if you are on a low calorie diet, then it is really, really important to have at least one meal like this every day that is just so voluminous. So in here we have 300 grams of cauliflower rice, we have 100 grams of peppers and 50 grams of onion. So in total there is 450 grams of veg in here. Veg is obviously super low in calories, it is high in fiber, and it is very filling. So if you are complaining about being hungry on a low calorie diet and you're not having something like this at least once a day, then get on it. Okay, so lastly I want to talk about progressing in compound exercises versus isolation exercises. And your compound exercises is going to be where you see the most and quickest progress. And this actually just makes a lot of sense when you think about it, because we generally lift a much heavier weight during compound exercises. So that just means adding a little bit of weight to the bar or whatever you're using is not that big of a jump. So for example, if you increase your bench press from 50 kg to 52.5 kg, that is only a 5% increase in weight. But isolation exercises are normally a completely different story, because we usually use a much lighter weight, so each jump in weight is going to be more substantial. So for example, if you increase your lateral raise from using 10 kg dumbbells to 12.5 kg dumbbells, that is a 25% increase in weight. So in terms of progression, you are going to progress a lot more frequently on your compound exercises versus your isolation exercises, and you shouldn't get annoyed or frustrated about slow progression on your isolation. And realistically, even if you can do like 1 extra rep in total in comparison to your previous session, that is good progress. So for example, let's just say in your last session you did 4 sets of 8 on 10 kg on the bicep curl. If you turn up to your next session and do 3 sets of 8 and 1 set of 9 on the same weight on the bicep curl, that is good. That is good progress. So yeah, I hope you found today's topic of the day useful, and if you did, make sure you comment below and let me know. And also let me know if you want me to cover another topic in one of my upcoming videos, because I am very open to suggestions. But yeah, enough talk for now, because it is time for my final main meal of the day. So I'm going to be making the quickest, easiest and tastiest protein brownie known to man, and this is actually something that I haven't had in ages, so I am very excited. So I'm gonna start by adding 15 grams of powdered peanut butter to a bowl and mixing it with water. Then we will put that aside for the moment and get to work on the actual brownie. So I'm gonna use 50 grams of chocolate brownie whey protein. Then I'm gonna add some water to make it into a little paste, and you do not want to make it too watery, so just add little by little and add more if you need to. This is the kind of consistency that I like, just kind of like nice and gooey. And now it is time for the remaining ingredients. So I'm gonna add 15 grams of marshmallows, 15 grams of milk chocolate chips, 1 heaped teaspoon of powdered sweetener, and also some baking powder so the brownie rises in the microwave just about less than half a teaspoon. Then we give it a nice little mix, and then I'm gonna put it in the microwave until the mixture begins to rise. It usually takes no longer than 30 seconds. Alright, 20 seconds in the microwave, and this is how it is looking. And just to finish it off, as if it didn't already look tasty enough, I am going to add my powdered peanut butter. Okay, quick taste test while it is still warm. Honestly, that is just ridiculous. Unreal. Every bite is just so good. And the great thing about this is that it is so versatile. So if you didn't want to blow a lot of calories on it, you could just reduce the portion sizes of everything and just have it as a little snack. Honestly, stop what you're doing and just go try this, please. I will be very disappointed if the comment section isn't full of people saying, I tried your protein brownie, you've changed my life. Thank you. Okay, so 50 grams of popcorn to end the day, and this Manhattan popcorn is so voluminous that I don't think I'm gonna fit 50 grams in the bowl. Okay, there is 35 grams in there now. I'll add the other 15 later. But yeah, if you are interested in one of the best ever bags of popcorn in terms of volume, this Manhattan popcorn is the GOAT. It is Irish though, made in Finglas, Dublin, so if you are watching this from abroad, then I do not think you'll be able to get your hands on it. But yeah, I am going to wrap the video up there, people, and chill out for the evening. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, make sure you give the video a big thumbs up, and please comment below and let me know as well. And if you have not subscribed to the channel, please do, because I am within sniffing distance of 10,000 subscribers. So as of right now, I have 9,483 subs. But I'm actually going to display my total calories and macros for the day on screen now, just so you know exactly what the story was in terms of nutrition. And yeah, I hope you found the video useful. I hope you got some good ideas, and I will see you next week.